Before I announce Chapter 7's release date, I need to make a quick PSA. Okay, so it's no secret that this channel is growing, which I'm very happy for. I couldn't have done it without y'all's incredible support. But there's also a downside to having more fans. Look, it's no secret either that Goten Black is taking longer than usual. In fact, I used to say expect Goten Black in 3 to 5 months in my bio, but I took that down. I'll be honest with you guys, I've been doing Goten Black for almost 5 years now, and I'm feeling burned out. I want to move on and work on my discussion videos, but a part of me does want to finish it just to finish it. So that's why Goten Black has been taking longer than usual. I'm simply tired. That being said, there are a lot of impatient fans that can't seem to get that. I've been getting a lot of impatient fans spamming me to hurry up as they can't wait any longer or demanding the release of Goten Black. Guys, Joe and I come up with the release date once all the pages are done. And even when they are all done, Joe needs at least a month to put everything together, so we don't know. Now, back when Chapter 6 was still in production, I used to reply to these fans asking about the release date, explaining this, but I stopped because they would still keep asking a day later on another video, even if it had nothing to do with Goten Black. Take, for example, this guy. I told him nicely I didn't know, and then he again asked the same question for me to once again explain I don't know, to then once again in another video. Buddy, what part of I don't know do you not understand? And it's not like he was the only one who did this. Other fans would keep asking about the release date even after I explained the process behind Goten Black. So I decided I'm not even going to bother answering when's the next Goten Black chapter, and even commented about this on Chapter 6. Now I must admit, this did soothe some of the fans for a while. Yeah, some still try to get my attention, but other fans let them know to chill out and be patient, which shout out to y'all, that's super sweet. That being said, some fans can't seem to wrap their heads around that fact, and even when some other fans tell them to be patient, they continue and then they cry when they get blocked. I've also had fans demanding I rush Goten Black so they can finally be able to read it, which is never a good idea. Just look at Chapter 3 and Chapter 5 Part 2. Now, I have confronted some of these fans and told them to please stop. I find that annoying, which some have apologized and stopped, but others, like this latest guy, is an entitled asshole that just want Goten Black for free and to hurry it up because they can't wait anymore. Look guys, right now I'm still a small YouTuber. I'm not making enough money on YouTube to live on. I'm happy to note that my revenue increased since the last time I made a release date video, and so did my Patreon, but at the moment, it's still not enough to live on. I still have to work a job, and at the moment, I'm trying to get an animation job, which is really hard to do, so that takes number 1 priority. I can't really put Goten Black on my resume or my portfolio, and unless one of you guys is willing to give me a real animation job or know someone in the animation industry, then you are going to have to understand that Goten Black is not doing me any favors in achieving my career. And look, let's say I do make Goten Black my priority. It's honestly not worth the stress nor the trouble. When Chapter 6 was in development, y'all were also demanding for me to hurry up, and when Chapter 6 was released, it earned $10 in a month. That's it, $10. Now that's for its first month. How much did it make since then? $22. That's all Chapter 6 made. All that effort, all that time drawing all the pages and adding the effects, and I made $22 off of Chapter 6. And mind you, Joe gets paid $15 for his editing, so I really just made $7. Call me unhinged,
but that's not worth all this stress.
Look, the best way for y'all to ensure Goten Black to come out quicker is to either sign up for my Patreon or channel memberships. Channel memberships get a monthly no audio video of all the pages of Goten Black that I did for a month. It's just $1.99, or if you sign up for my Patreon for $3 a month, you will be able to read weekly updates on Goten Black at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's the best way you can ensure Goten Black will come out sooner. The more you guys sign up, the less I have to go to work and I can have more time to draw. If you can't afford it for whatever reason, I respect that. I'm not going to demand for y'all to give me money, but again, don't be like this guy who just keeps demanding Goten Black for free and doesn't respect the fact that it takes time to make. But if you want Goten Black out quicker, but don't want to pay, this is what you can do. I have been using #NoticeGD for almost 2 years now, waving my flag around and hoping for one day for another bigger YouTuber to either react to my story or just give a simple shout out, which I have had no luck so far. Well, this is where you come in. If you have a YouTube channel, put Goten Black on your community tabs. It doesn't matter if you have 5 subscribers or 20,000 subscribers. If we can get more people to view Goten Black, then it will increase my ad revenue, which will definitely benefit the project. Or you can also watch my other videos. Check out my original comic series that I've made all about stranger danger, or watch my other discussion videos that may not have as many views. The more y'all are watching, the more it's going to help me. But enough of demanding for Goten Black, or rushing me in the comments, or spamming about Goten Black. I can't take it anymore, and it's really starting to get on my nerves. And I know what y'all are thinking. GD, why don't you just turn off the comments? Why don't you just ignore them? A couple of reasons. It's never a good look to turn off the comments. I don't want to punish the nice fans who just want to leave their regular comments on the video. And finally, the real scary thing is, some fans have taken it way too far. I've gotten fans that have tried to look for me on other personal social media, to talk to me, or to continue their spam, or to try to be friends with me. Let me tell you the story of my most obsessed Goten Black fan. I'll be referring to him as Prince Carissa, because that's what he used to go by. Don't worry, he changed his username. I actually was debating if I were to reveal his name, but he did show up in a few of my shorts, so I decided to just go with it. Now, Carissa showed up in chapter 4, where he would comment on Goten Black ideas, which were pretty bad. This is the guy that wanted Goten Black to have a chainsaw, for Goten Black to meet Bill Cipher, for Pilaf to be the leader of the Resistance instead of future Trunks, for Goten Black to meet Azula and... So for a while, I ignored Carissa. He was just commenting and there was no harm being done. At first. Carissa would then try to reply to me on some comments suggesting his Goten Black ideas to whether appear in the actual canon of the story, or for me to make a short of it, which I would decline. He then started to follow me around other channels. At one point, he actually tried to chat with me on Joe's channel, and again, I tried to ignore him, but he would not stop. I told him to please stop, which he said he would, but then the next day he'd do the same thing. He then started to demand Goten Black to come out, as well as he would follow me around YouTube. So I rushed out chapter 5 part 2, thinking that it would make him stop, which I regret doing. I told him to stop and to leave me alone, which hurt his feelings. But again, he continued this the next day. I decided, you know what, this guy doesn't want to stop, so I might as well block him, which I did. This was the first fan I ever had to block. I thought this would be the end of it, but he didn't stop there. Carissa found my Instagram and continued spamming his terrible Goten Black ideas to me, even though I explained I didn't like them, and he got upset with me when I told him to stop. The nerve of this guy. I eventually blocked him again, but this guy signed up as a free member on my Patreon after I told him to leave me alone. And although he couldn't comment on my Patreon pages since he wasn't a paid member, I still felt uncomfortable that this guy was still following me around. I once again blocked him just for him to reappear on my TikTok, where I finally confronted him to stop. At first he seemed apologetic, just for him to say he loved me. You never say that to someone you barely know. I again blocked him for the 4th time, and at first I thought that was the end of it, until Vara started to do his reactionary videos. I left this comment on one of his videos, and guess who decided to reply to me? Fucking Cariza! This guy could have just left that comment on Vara's channel, but he decided to reply to me knowing full well that I do not want to hear his ideas. And since it was on a different channel, he knew I couldn't block him there. Cariza would still try to follow me around to other fan videos I reposted on my community tabs, even though he knows I do not want to hear his spam. And this went on for 2 years. 2 years this guy has been following me around to share his terrible ideas. And 2 years I've been telling him to stop for him to ignore, to which I had enough. If Cariza was going to keep following me around, I might as well have some fun with the whole situation. So I made some shorts about him exposing all his terrible ideas that seemed to finally get him to leave me alone. Look, I'm not proud of doing that. I know that's mean, and I don't like being mean to fans, but this guy didn't want to listen. For 2 years, I told this guy to stop in a nice way, just for him to ignore and continue to follow me in whatever platform he could find. He was that obsessed, and so I just did what I thought would finally get him to realize I didn't want anything to do with him. Now, I do not want to make a habit of that. I'm hoping that was the first and last time I do that. So please, if I tell you to stop, stop. Now that's just Cariza. I have also dealt with other fans who may not be as creepy as him, but they still made me uncomfortable. These fans I'm going to leave unnamed because they have either apologized or they're just overstepping some boundaries. And please, don't out yourself in the comments. There's a reason why I'm keeping them vague. The first fan I'll name Fluttershy. Now Fluttershy would ask some questions about Goten Black, and I would answer them as soon as I can. I didn't mind answering any questions back then, but one day Fluttershy asked me a particular question that I didn't feel like answering. One day later, this fan freaked out. They started freaking out that I hated them, that if they did something to suddenly get me mad and then apologize for any sort of sin that they may have done. I told them I was just busy, and they seemed to calm down, apologizing as they were afraid they lost my friendship with me. I don't want to be friends with my fans. I personally think any YouTuber who wants to be friends with their fans is a big red flag. I'm sorry if I gave you that impression, but no, that was never the case, and that includes all of you. I'm fine with answering questions, but I'm not your friend. I will be friendly to you, but there is no friendship. So you may be wondering, what was the question Fluttershy asked to freak out so much? How are you? That was it. That was all that they wanted to ask. Because I didn't reply, I was fine, or didn't tell them how I was, they had a meltdown. Eventually, I blocked this fan because they kept acting like this when I didn't reply to them immediately, and they kept throwing a pity party when I told them I was getting uncomfortable, then tried to guilt-trip me so I would apologize for hurting their feelings. Now this other fan, we'll call him Discord, has already apologized, but I'm just going to use them as an example to make sure this doesn't happen again. During my live stream, they popped up and asked me about Goten Black's release date, but asked for me not to go crazy. Look, I know I act crazy in my discussion videos, but that's all an act. I don't want to act like that with real people. So if you saw the beginning of my FNAF Into the Pit livestream, I actually stated how I was getting a lot of obsessive fans lately and to please keep your distance, which was Discord's first appearance. Now, Discord would appear in other live streams until we got to my second Bendy and the Ink Machine live stream, which he started to act up. He said he wasn't fine because Goten Black was taking so long to make and it was driving him into madness, and started laughing like a maniac, as he wrote in the text. This triggered me as I was reminded of Kuriza and showed visible discomfort when I read that.
Sorry to feel that, but you shouldn't take that personally. Like, it'll come back. It's not like it's the end of the world.
What happened?
Let's read the comment.
Later on in the game, Discord said he would give me a second chance, which is alarming, which caused me to confront him.
If you keep this up, I'm not afraid to block you.
You're someone being weird.
Yeah, someone's being like a creepy stalker now.
Yeah.
Alright, if you keep this up one more time, I'm going to like block you, okay? Like, I blocked fans before because they've been obsessive and they've been disrespectful, okay? Like, no, I'm not putting up with that behavior. If you want to keep it up, just try me, okay? You're going to be blocked.
So Discord didn't want me to act crazy with him, nor scream at him when he asked when Goten Black was going to be released. But then he started acting crazy to me because I was taking too long to release Goten Black. Remember the golden rule: treat others how you want to be treated. If you don't want me to act unhinged to y'all, then don't act unhinged to me. Later on in the game, I calmed down and noticed Discord deleting those previous comments, and later on he apologized.
I get that. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt that you were trying to joke around with me, but no, that's not funny. Like, jokes are meant to be funny, and the way that you were behaving like that actually seemed like obsessive fan behavior.
Turns out he was trying to joke with me, but I don't appreciate those kinds of jokes. As Joe says,
Yeah, so like, here's the thing about jokes over text or the internet. Because like we can't hear the person, the joke can just fall flat, whatever.
Yeah.
And plus, like, we seen like stuff like obsessive fans go weird on the internet all the time, especially with like female streamers. So we just gotta be careful, you know.
Just please don't ever do that again.
So again, if you don't want me to act unhinged to you, please don't act unhinged towards me. Now I have had other fans, not just one, try to ask me personal questions, like, how old are you? Or, where do you live? Which I'm not comfortable with. You do not need to know my age, and y'all especially do not need to know where I live. Like, what are you going to do with that information? As stated before, some fans have tried to message me on Instagram where they themselves try to tell me personal information about themselves, like names, their ages, or they will go so far as to send me pictures of themselves. I can't believe I have to say this in 2024, but you never tell anyone you barely know personal information like that. Ever heard of stranger danger? I do not feel comfortable knowing your name, your age, and I especially do not want a picture of you. Look, sweeties, sometimes the creep doesn't look like this. Sometimes they look as normal as this. Sometimes the creep will act all sweet and nice to make it easier to trick you. So you must always keep your guard up, including around YouTubers. Like, this year alone proves that YouTubers can be inappropriate towards their fans, so do not try to contact them. And that includes me. It's actually very concerning to me that a lot of you are so willing to tell me these things, even when I say, no, I don't want to. Please practice internet safety. Now I know what some of y'all are thinking. GD, a lot of these things could have been prevented if you hadn't replied to these people in the first place. And you're right. I was stupid and naive. Please, anyone who's listening, do not do what I did. Don't be afraid to stand up to your fans. Don't let them push you around, and be consistent with your boundaries, even if it means you may have to hurt the other's feelings. See this as a learning lesson. Learn from my mistakes and have strong boundaries from the start instead of doing what I did. That being said, there are going to be new rules in this channel starting now. Questions about Goten Black or any other material we covered on the channel, like TMNT, Dragon Ball, or other cartoons, are allowed. But other questions, especially personal questions, will be ignored from here on out. Always remember, I am not your friend. Just because I answer questions, do not think we are magically friends. That also means conversations. I will put a stop to it if I feel like you're taking this the wrong way. I will be nice to you, but I do not believe in being friends with my fans. So please do not try to message me on any of my other social media accounts. I will ignore or delete them. Y'all can chat with us during our live streams, but that's only because it's a safe public area. I don't want to talk to y'all in any private room online. Do not be an entitled asshole. There is going to be a 3 strikes you're out law. If I start seeing any obsessive behavior appearing, I will first tell you nicely to stop. That will be your first warning. If you continue, then I will again tell you to stop and remind you you will be blocked if you keep it up. And if you keep going, then I will have no choice but to block you because I can't take it anymore. If I tell you to stop, I don't need to hear excuses. Some fans have told me, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm years old." Or, "I'm sorry, but I'm ba. Or even, "I can't help it, I just love Goten Black." Again, you should not be telling strangers online your personal information. And just because you love Goten Black, that doesn't magically erase your obsessive behavior. I do not need to know if you're old or if you're young or if you are red or blue. I just need to know that you are sorry and you will stop. And of course, no harassment or discrimination will be tolerated in this channel. You'd think that'd be a no-brainer, but you'd be surprised. Those are going to be the new guidelines for this channel. But before I reveal the release date, I want to remind y'all one thing. This is just fanfic. Goten Black is not canon. It's never going to be canon. There is no reason for y'all to be this obsessed over this. And I am not afraid to cancel Goten Black if these behaviors keep going or escalate. I don't want it to come to that, but my safety and mental health are not worth putting at risk for fanfic. There's a reason why we have a Patreon or a channel membership. If you are going to be this impatient or this obsessive, then just sign up. It's less than a big bag of chips. And if you can't afford it or just don't want to sign up, that's okay. I respect that. Just don't be an entitled asshole like this guy. If you want me to respect that you don't want to sign up, then you must be patient and respect that Goten Black will take time since this is a 2-person team. And I do not want to work with anyone. I'm just very introverted and like to keep to myself. Okay, now that I got that out of the way, the moment you all have been waiting for, Chapter 7, Part 1 release date. Roll credits.